Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today, I am going to share something very interesting with you. The transformation of a place called Salboni, located in Paschim Medinipur, West Bengal. We will explore how this town has changed over time, using Google Earth satellite imagery as our guide. By comparing images from 2011, 2014, 2020, and 2024, we can trace how open lands and forest areas slowly turned into schools, housing, offices, and modern infrastructure. Let us begin with the educational institutions. Here you can see Salboni Boys High School. It holds a special importance because it is the only boys' school in this region that offers classes up to 11 and 12. For many students across nearby villages, this school has been the stepping stone for their higher education. Moving a little further, you'll find Nishumonjuri Girls High School. It is located beside a small river, which the local people call Juli. The presence of these schools reflects how Salboni became an educational hub for both boys and girls, encouraging literacy and opportunities for young people in this part of Bengal. Next, let's look at the railway station. The Salboni Railway Station is one of the most significant developments in this area. In the 2024 satellite images, you can notice that construction was still ongoing. However, if you visit in 2025, you will see that more than 50% of the project has been completed. A brand new entryway has been built, platforms are being modernized, and the surrounding infrastructure is gradually taking shape. This station will not only improve connectivity, but also boost trade, travel, and economic activities for the people living here. For decades, transport was limited, but with this new railway development, Salboni is now directly connected to larger towns and cities. Now, let us shift our focus to the administrative side. Here you can see the Salboni Block Development Office. If we look back just 15 years, most of the land around this office was completely empty. Slowly, over time, houses began to appear. Today, these areas are fully populated, with rows of residential buildings and small businesses. This transformation shows how rural lands were converted into proper settlements. One landmark that stood out even in the earlier years was the cinema hall. At a time when the surroundings had almost no houses, this hall served as a cultural hub for the people of Salboni. Families and youth would gather here for entertainment, making it one of the most important social spaces of its time. Although the cinema hall is no longer as active as before, it still stands as a memory of the past. Moving forward, we have Soisobda Park. This park, along with the surrounding forest department land, was once covered with thick greenery and scattered jungle patches. Today, many of those areas have been developed into residential plots, government offices, and public parks. Although urbanization has reduced some of the natural cover, the park still provides a much-needed green space for relaxation and community activities. Now, let us take a look at the stadium. The Salboni local stadium is another example of development. In earlier satellite images, we can see only a simple gallery and an open field. There were no proper boundaries or structures, but in recent years, the stadium has been upgraded. It now has galleries for spectators, a boundary wall, and a main entrance. Such facilities encourage sports, youth activities, and gatherings, which are vital for the social life of the town. The roadways have also changed dramatically. Earlier, people had to cross a railway level crossing to reach the other side, which often caused delays. Now, an underpass has been constructed, providing smooth connectivity between Salboni and National Highway 14. This improvement in road infrastructure has made travel safer and faster, and has also boosted the local economy by connecting Salboni with bigger markets and towns. To truly understand the transformation, let us carefully compare the satellite images from different years. In 2011, most of the land was still open or covered in forest patches. Only a few houses and structures could be seen. By 2014, construction activity had increased. Some residential areas started appearing, and government buildings began to expand. In 2020, the growth became more visible. Entire neighborhoods were formed, offices were functional, and roads were better connected. By 2024, we can clearly see the progress: a developing railway station, a fully functional stadium, and dense residential clusters where there used to be empty land. Even if we go back further, say to 1985, the the images show almost no development at all. Those records remind us how rural and underdeveloped Salboni was just a few decades ago. It is only in the past 15 years that we have seen such rapid and noticeable change. This journey is not just about buildings and roads. It tells the story of how a once quiet and sparsely populated place slowly turned into a town full of life, education, culture, and opportunity. Schools gave the children a future. The cinema hall gave the people entertainment. The railway station gave them connectivity. And the houses, offices, and parks together created a community. So, in conclusion, when we look at Salboni today, we see not just land and infrastructure, but the reflection of human effort, government planning, and the natural growth of a community. It is a story of resilience and transformation, a reminder of how change comes step by step, year by year. Thank you for joining me on this journey through time. This was the story of Salboni, its past, its present, and its vision for the future.
This is something real. It's the no changes, no much changes. Maybe a bit, in